Hello, everybody, and welcome to our yoga for desk dwellers. Perfect if you're a person who has an office job, or maybe you've just spent a little bit too long sitting today. I've got a rolled blanket here that we're going to use at the end of the session. A couple of cushions would work just as well. So if you want to have those to hand, then that will be really helpful for the last posture. We are going to start seated. So find a comfortable seated position. And if you're comfy with your legs crossed, let's start in this easy pose. We're going to pop our hands on our knees and we're going to stir the pot. So we're just going to bring the body in circular motions here, just to begin to move gently into the back and into the hips. If you spend a long time sitting, can have its health problems, might include stiff back, stiff hips, and it can end up in a weakness in the glutes and in the legs, and you might feel it up into your neck, into your back, into your shoulders. Let's reverse the direction of those circles. So we're just going to work for the next 10 minutes or so just to get out some of those squeaky, niggly issues that we have from staying too long seated. The human body enjoys to move, so we definitely want to move it as much as we can. Let's come back to stillness here. Let's inhale the arms outwards and upwards into a lovely stretch here. Let's clasp the hands and we're going to bring the palms up towards the ceiling just to stretch through that upper body. Let's lean towards one side and come up, and then we're going to lean towards the other. Then we're just going to bring some lateral movement into that spine. And some of these moves that we do today, you can actually do on a chair. So if you're at work, you're kind of tied to your desk, there's no reason that you can't just put your hands above your head and do a couple of sideways stretches like this. Let's do one more here. And I'm going to float those arms down, just rest through the shoulders. Let's circle through the shoulders a couple of times here. And then we're going to drop the right hand into the mat and come over into a deeper side stretch. So we're stretching towards the right side. Try to keep both hips grounded. Don't lift one of your hips up off the floor. So we're aiming to keep them grounded. And then let's stretch up and let's stretch over. We're going to come into a side bend the other way. But just enjoying this opening up through the right side body. We're gently breathing. And let's float this hand down. Find a lovely length to the back. Maybe you want to sit on a cushion, or maybe you want to sit on your rolled blanket. And we're going to float the left hand up. It's going to land over onto the right side of the head. And we're just going to gently bring the left ear towards the left shoulder into a lovely neck stretch here. And it might feel really nice just to gently roll the head. And maybe you want to stay still. It's your practice. So doing what feels good. Something really hurts or doesn't feel right, just stop straight away. It's your body telling you not to be in that shape, so do listen. Let's super gently bring the head back up. I'm going to pop our hands on our neck and just give our neck a little rub. That can feel quite intense into that neck. And then we're going to float the right hand up. It's going to land on the left side of the head. Let's come into that neck stretch the other way. So we're just creating space in that left side of the neck. And again, we might want to stay still. Or we might just want to move that head, just gently rolling it in this position. Maybe that feels good. Gently breathing. And we slowly release that head back up to the center, and maybe we give ourselves a little massage, or maybe just some smaller circles of that head. We're going to bring ourselves over now into a tabletop position. So let's meet with our knees underneath our hips and our hands underneath our shoulders. And we're going to bring this right knee in towards the armpit area. And then we're going to draw it out to the side, back behind, and then back down and through. So it's like we're drawing big circles with the knee. And we're just moving into the hip joint. Just loosening up through the hips. Let's do a couple more here. And then we're going to step this right foot forwards. It's going to land on the edge of the mat. You might need to shuffle it forwards with your hand, but we're going to bring the right foot quite far forwards. We're going to leave both hands on the floor on the inside of that leg. And then we're going to drop the hips down towards the floor. Maybe this right knee stays pointing up towards the ceiling, or maybe it comes out to the side. Whichever feels okay here. It's quite an intense stretch. We're not going to be here for ages. But we're just loosening up and moving into those hips. Let's take one more moment here. And then let's bring ourselves back. We're going to bring the right foot back to meet the left, back on all fours. And we're going to draw some circles here with the hips and the shoulders. So we're moving through the hips, moving through the shoulders. And take the circles in the other direction. I'm going to quickly spin round so that I'm facing you. One more circle here, then let's come back to that position with our knees under our hips and our hands under our shoulders, and we're going to bring this left knee now in towards the left armpit space, up, round, back behind, and then back through. So we're drawing big circles with the left knee now. Just noticing how that feels. Is there a difference between this side and the other? Possibly. Not symmetrical. So one side probably feels easier than the other. This is our last one. And then we're going to bring this left foot through. Help it if it needs. It's going to land quite far forwards in front of your hands maybe. Bring your hands forwards, and then we're going to drop the hips down towards the mat. And maybe this left leg comes out to the side. Maybe that foot stays flat. You're working to your own measure here. So go in where is comfortable. And if you've been sitting all day, then this might feel super stiff. One more moment here. Then let's release. We're going to step the hands back a little bit. We're going to bring ourselves back onto that hands and knees position, and we're going to lower ourselves down onto our tummy and bring our hands out in front. Our elbows are going to land underneath our shoulders, and we're going to pause here in Sphinx. So really try not to collapse down through the shoulders. Push the chest up off the floor using those shoulder muscles. And if you want a bit more of an extension in the back, press into the hands and lift the chest up, just opening through that front body, stretching into the back. If the elbows are lifted, let's land them back down And we're going to bring the right hand across. We're going to sweep the left hand back and bring the left foot up towards the bottom. See if you can catch hold of that foot. That might not happen. If it doesn't matter. But we're going to catch hold of that foot and then try to bring that left shoulder down. Maybe bring the head down. And we find ourselves in half bow here, which we might find quite squeaky and stiff. So inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, see if you can release tension through the lower body, release through the bottom, release through the legs. And once you've released that tension, you might find it a little bit more comfortable to hold this shape. Inhaling, exhale and release. Let's release that leg. We're going to come back into that Sphinx pose, bringing our elbows underneath the shoulders. Left hand comes across the body. Right foot comes up towards the bottom. And then let's sweep the right hand back to catch that foot. Maybe bringing the shoulders a bit squarer. So rolling the right shoulder down. Maybe bringing the head down. And again, wherever you are, inhale through the nose. As you exhale, release tension from the lower body. Release through the bottom. Release through the leg muscles. And we might find a bit more space. And let's release that foot. We're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to push ourselves up and back. Let's bring a widening to the knees. Our big toes are together. Bottom towards the heels. Forehead towards the floor. Stretching the arms in front. Let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to bring ourselves up to seated. And this is where we're going to use our rolled blanket. So let's take our rolled blanket and we're going to pop it along the mat here. We're going to sit at the very end. So we're not kind of on it, but it's right up against the base of our spine. And then we're going to roll ourselves back down. Maybe let's bring a bend to the knees. We're going to roll ourselves down here and land onto this kind of sausage shape of a mat. And we're going to open out through the shoulders and bring our arms out to the side. The arms can be straight or they can be bent, whichever feels good. Palms can be up or down, again, whichever feels good. And we're just opening up. We're using the blanket here to open up through that chest area. So if you've been sitting at a desk all day, then you're going to be maybe quite kind of hunched over in this space. But we're opening up through the chest. And you can keep your knees bent here and pointing up to the ceiling, or you might want to find some opening in the hips by bringing the soles of the feet together and allowing both knees to come out to the side. So we're in a reclined butterfly pose. It doesn't overly matter. It doesn't matter where your legs are. If laying on a blanket like this doesn't feel good, then please just take the blanket away. This shape can be done without blanket or cushions underneath. But once we're here, maybe bring it close to the eyes. Take the focus to the breath. And on the exhale, just focus on releasing, particularly through the upper body, through the chest, through the shoulders, coming into the neck, releasing any tension here. Breathing gently. One more moment. And of course, if this feels good, you're so welcome to stay here. Maybe you bring your legs back in together. Maybe you bring your knees in towards the chest. Release through that back. And in a safe way for you, when you're ready, bring yourself up to seated. We find a lovely length to that spine. Let's take one last inhale together. Palms meet, heart center. Namaste.